Good morning, everyone. So, in last lecture, we have started with the cell phone and mobile device forensic, and this is very important component where the most of the attack happens because it's a thing that we use in our daily life. Without mobile, I don't think we can't live. Okay, so there are different functionality provided by the mobile. That means we can make a call and we can perform online as well as offline transaction using mobile. So these are some facility that provided by the mobile. We can make the SMS, email, then we do the instant messaging like WhatsApp. Then we can view the web pages. We can download the photos and videos. We can use the personal calendar, address book, songs, voice recording, and also we perform the different transaction using mobile phone. And recently we do all the transaction on mobile, so banking transaction. So there must be there must be a chance for the hacker to hack our data and make use of it for the different for performing some online transactions. So for that, the role of cyber forensics are very important here. So in last lecture, we started with the mobile phone basics. As we know that in 1917, the Motorola company introduced the cell phone. So the Motorola is the first company who invented the cell phone in 1970. And now we rarely use the mobile phone from the Motorola company. So initially it was the digital mobile, sorry, analog mobile, where we can contact through a landline with others. After that, the different generation occurs. In that, 2G was first introduced. At that time, we can just make the call and send the SMS. Then 3G was introduced. In that, we can send the message. We can make the call. Also, we can see the some videos. We can share the videos. And after that, the 4G was introduced. In that, we can make a call. We can send the messages. Also, we can view the good quality movies. So in every generation, the bandwidth get improved, and the customer get benefit of it. So basically, the technology involves CDMA, GSM, TDMA, IDN, then DMPS, then enhanced data GSM environment, that is the edge, then orthogonal frequency division multiplexing. So let's see one by one. First one is the code division multiple access. So that is the CDMA. CDMA is developed by the Qualcomm. To define the CDMA, uses complete radio frequency spectrum. Sprint and Virgin uses the CDMA network. I think you must be aware of CDMA technology, where the mobile are designed with the SIM card. So the CDMA mobile work only with the CDMA SIM card. So no other mobile cards will not use there, right? So whenever the GSM comes in a market, at that time any GSM card works in a GSM mobile, right? So many of the CDMA network match IS-95, which is created by the TLA, TIA, that is the Telecommunication Industry Association. These systems are known as the CDMA ones, and when they go to 3G service, they will become CDMA 2000. So whenever the 3G introduced in a CD mobile, they come to know about CDMA 2000. Next one is the global system mobile application. So it is applicable to each and every SIM card that supports the GSM network. So GSM is used by AT&T and T-Mobile. It is standard in Asia and Europe. It uses time division multiple access technique. Thus, many phones get turns sharing the channel a lot like tone ring networks. So in CDMA we use the code division multiple access, and in GSM we use time division multiple access. In time division, every user gets a time slot, and in that they can communicate with each other. After that, it changed to the different user. So time is divided as a ring network, as a token ring. So whenever so if the mobile company align or assign the time slot of 5 seconds, then it shifted to the next user after the 5 seconds. Then it shifted to the next user after 5 seconds. So this is the TDMA technology. So TDMA, time division multiple access. The time division network divides the radio frequency into time slots. GSM also use the same technique. So GSM use the TDMA. TDMA refers to the IS 136 standard, and CDMA is the IS 95 standard, which introduced sleep mode to enhance battery life. So in TDMA the sleep mode was introduced. So whenever the customer is idle at that time, it saves the battery life. The TDMA can work in the cell phone with the frequency 800 megahertz to 1000 megahertz. So from the mobile towers, it sends the frequency of 800 megahertz to 1000 megahertz. And whenever the receiver, that is the mobile, match this frequency, at that time we get the call. Or PCS, that is 1900 megahertz frequency. As a result, it is compatible with the number of cell phone networks. So most of the mobile network comes with such type of frequency that they can receive. So TDMA works in any mobile. Next one is the integrated digital enhanced network, that is IDNA. It is Motorola protocol which combines various services including data transmission into one network. So whenever the TG was introduced, at that time we find IDNA on our mobile network. Next one is the Digital Advanced Mobile Phone Service, that is DAMPS. DAMPS is a digital version of the original analog standard for the cell phone. So it is the standard version for the user who wants the digital environment. Next one is the edge. When the 4G introduced, we find the edge on our mobile network. The edge stands for enhanced data GSM environment. So it is the next version of GSM environment. So edge is the digital network is used to deliver, and it is faster version of GSM. So I say, as I told you, it's the next version of GSM. It is specially designed for 3G. Whenever the 3G introduced, at that time we find the edge on our mobile network. The 3G standard is developed by the International Telecommunication Union, that is ITU. It's compatible with CDMA, TDMA, and GSM. So the Telecommunication Union are compatible or are comes with CDMA, TDMA, and GSM technology. Next one is orthogonal frequency division multiplexing. So this is the new technology and that supports the 4G network. So OFDM technology for 4G network utilizes the energy more efficiency than 3G network. It is more immune to inference. So in 3G, we can get network anywhere. It does not care about the wall or the hard things. The frequency or the waves can break all these things. So in 4G, the power of waves are increased and they can cross any obstacles in the network. So first one, what can this? So orthogonal frequency division multiplexing is a this techniques used for the radio waves broadcast over the dissimilar frequency. It uses power more resourcefully and is more resistance of inference. Next one is the mobile WiMAX. This technology supports transmission speed of 12 megabyte per second. It is chosen by the Sprint for its for network. This technology uses the OFDMA, that is orthogonal frequency division multiplexing access, and IEEE 802 0.16 standard. So here the data transmission speed increase as we use the 4G mobile, and its transmission speed is up to 12 megabyte per second. Then ultra mobile broadband CDMA network provides use this technology to switch to 4G and support the transmission speed up to 100 megabyte per second. So for 1 second we get the 100 MB data in 4G environment. This technology also known as the CDMA 2000 or EOD0. Next one is the multiple input multiple output, that is MIMO. Ergo developed this technology and Qualcomm acquired it. It is expected to support 312 megabyte per second. So here the data transmission speed again increase and it comes to 312 megabyte per second. So initially it was 12 megabyte per second. After that it increased up to 100 megabyte per second, and after that 312 megabyte per second. So next one is the LTE that we recently used long-term evolution. LTE technology supports the transmission speed of 45 megabyte per second to 144 megabyte per second, and is designed for the UMTS and GSM technology is expected to support 45 megabyte per second to 144 Mbps transmission speed. So for LTE, the data transmission speed is 45 megabyte per second to 144 megabyte per second. Then some common components that we use in a mobile network are first that you must know in your networking subject. So the first thing is that the base transceiver station BTS is made of the radio transmitter equipment. So from here, the frequency transmit. It describes the cells and communicate with the mobile phone. So this is responsible for communicating with the mobile phones. So using this we can make a call, send the message, and all these things we can done using the BTS. Then there's station controller, that is BSC. BSC is a combination of hardware and software. BSC manage the BTS and allowed channels by connecting to the mobile switching center. So it has a mobile switching center, and using that it handles the BTS. Then next one is the MSC, that is mobile switching center. Mobile switching center collects calls by routing digital packets for the network and release the database to support the subscriber. This central database has location data, account data, and other key information needed during an investigation. So using SIM, the MSC get all this information. To access the information from carriers, the central database warrant or subpoena is needed. So these are the technology that used to support the mobile network. Next one is the inside the mobile device. So the hardware inside the mobile devices are ROM, RAM, a microprocessor, a digital signal processor, a microphone and speaker radio module, hardware interface, for example, cameras, keypads, GPS device, and also the LCD display, removable memory cards, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, OS, that is Linux, Windows Mobile. Now mostly the mobile have Android operating system. Then RIM OS, Palm OS, Symbian OS, Mac OS. So these are the different operating system are installed on a mobile phone. Usually data is stored in the phone electronically erasable programmable read-only memory. So generally the data stored in a EEPROM, that is electronically erasable programmable read-only memory, so that whatever the data stored it can be erased by using the electronic waves. It allows the service providers to reprogram the phones without accessing memory chips physically. Many users user take advantage of this facility and reprogram their phone to add new feature or the switch to different service provider. So the user can take advantages of EEPROM. They can create their own programs and that store in a ROM, so that mobile work as per their programming. So next one is the SIM card. As we know, we all know about the SIM card, and it stands for Subscriber Identity Module. These cards are used in a GSM devices and consist of a microprocessor and 16 KB to 4 MB EEPROM or more than that. So nowadays it's in a GB. Initially it was in a MB. It's a SIM card memory used to store the contact details and all the information on SIM mobile. SIM cards are likely to be standard memory cards, but the connectors are associated differently. So it can be work as a memory card, but it has a connector. It has some connection using that. It used for the different purpose. To find SIM card, open the panel covering GSM. The GSM refers to a mobile phone as a mobile station. So we find the SIM card in our mobile. The mobile station is divided into two parts, SIM card and the mobile equipment. So for mobile, we call it as a handset if it is device, and for SIM card, we call it as a mobile, which is the mobile equipment ME, which is the remainder of phone. The SIM is needed for the mobile equipment to work the serves these following additional purposes. So first thing, to identify the subscriber, to store personal information, to store the address book and message, to store the service related information. So these all information store on a SIM card. So whenever the tower access the SIM card at that time, it gets all this information about the subscriber, about the subscriber network, then personal information of subscriber, what are the contacts stored on a SIM, also get the messages on SIM, and also some service related information stored on a SIM card. You will get SIM card in two size. The most standard size is 0.7 mm thick. SIM card is portable simply by switching. So now there are different versions comes in a SIM card, that is nano, micro. Simply by switching the SIM card between the compatible phones, you can move your information to another phone. So SIM cards are portable. So whenever we add the SIM card in different mobile, all the data shift from one mobile to another mobile. Okay, if you are traveling to neighboring countries, then you have a two SIM card, one for your country and other for foreign country. You can easily switch a new SIM card. So whenever you go to neighbor country, at that time the SIM must be different because it is the SIM is compatible with the particular region only. Next one is the inside PDA. So PDA is the another device that can work as a mobile, and that is known as the personal digital assistant, are the separate device from the mobile phones. The majority users carry them in place of laptop to keep the track of appointments, deadlines, address books, and so forth. So PDA is used for such purposes. So we use mobile as well as PDA to maintain such type of information. Most of the PDAs having integrated phones. PDA consists of RAM, microprocessor, flash ROM, and variety of hardware components. We can retrieve the user's calendar, address book, and we can uh, access web access and other items from the PDA. So PDA is used work as a laptop, or we can say it as a mini laptop that we can carry anywhere, and it take care of our personal information. PDA uses many peripheral memory cards. So the memory cards that is used to store in a PDA are first one is the compact flash. These cards are used for the extra storage. Multimedia card that is known as the MMC. These cards are designed for mobile phones, but you can use with PDA also. And last one is the security digital, that is SD card that we use in recently. These cards are like MMC, only extra security features are added to protect the data. So these are the different types of memory cards that we can use in our mobile as well as PDA. So here we end our session. We have seen today the different technology used in a mobile, that is CDMA, GSM, orthogonal frequency division, multiplexing, GSM, LTE, Edge. Also, we discussed the BTS base, then BTS BSC, MSC, and also get information regarding SIM and PDA. If you find any difficulty regarding this, let me know now. Anyone have any difficulty? IR Damini, okay, you send the message. No, sir. Okay. So it's very easy subject. You can get the theory by just reading it and you can get benefit of it. Okay. So here we end our session. Thank you. You can leave the meeting. Thank you for watching.